Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to another year of High School Never Ends, a Pop Punk Dad podcast. I am Wingman Steve.
And I'm still Chris 183.
Even in 2025. And that's right, brand new year, new month. We got a new topic. And I guess that's the theme for the month. We're calling it new. New from 2024. So it's not like new like right now, but it's pretty new. Chris, we don't really talk a whole lot about like new music because we're kind of like, we talk a lot of nostalgia. And this time we're going to talk about albums that came out last year. And if you're a Patreon member, shout out to our Patreon members, Punkish Dad, Ashley, Steve C, Jason C, Sam, and Nick J. Thank you guys for joining. What we do is before we announce what the topic is, we let them know in advance. So we actually did like a little draft. We picked all the albums, and I'll shut up, Chris. I'll let you announce the band, the album, and our guest.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. And I just want to comment on one of the things you said. I think that, we don't talk a lot about new music here on this show because it is a show that's based in the roots of, when pop punk music was in its heyday, early 2000s, late 90s, that sort of thing. But I do not want to be caught in the brushstrokes of those individuals that want to resist what's new, because I think that there are a lot of good new bands, and not just new bands, but bands that have been out for some time that are putting out new music. I think for another time and another day, I'd love to just have the discussion. Do people want new music from bands that we love, or are we good with the music they already have? Just something to think about. Maybe that's just a question for you guys out there in listener land. Maybe it's a good Discord conversation, but I'm going to pocket that right now and get to the point. And the point is, what are we doing today? And today, we're bringing back a band that we started to kind of dabble in, to talk about a little bit last year during the podcast. It was an older album from this band, and we decided once again to go new. So from 2024, the band Bayside put out a banger that was called "There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive." And I'll tell you what, I'm a fan of Bayside. I don't necessarily watch them every second of my life. I didn't know this album was out. I'll be honest with each and every one of you. But there was one individual that told me, hey, stop what you're doing right now. If you haven't listened to this album yet, I know you like pop punk. I know you do. If you haven't listened to this album, just drop everything and go listen to it. And I listened to this individual, and man, was I glad that I did, because we'll talk about it here, but what an album. And I know what you're asking yourself. Who was this individual? Who was the person that told me to do that? Well, Steve, it's funny that you ask, because this person might be on the show today.
That worked out.
It did. So we have with us back again on High School Never Ends, everybody's favorite pop punk critic. I don't think we have a tagline or a nickname for you yet, but welcome back, Sam, to the show. Sam, I think it was only appropriate that we brought you back for the Bayside episode to talk about this amazing album based on the history that you and I have with this.
Well, thank you. That is seriously quite the introduction. So I definitely appreciate that. Third time's the charm, I think. This is my third time on the show. Super happy to be here. Super excited to talk about this album. But I think we've already learned that taking my advice, Chris, leads to great, great things. So maybe you should do it more often.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I can just briefly tell the story. I was in the car. I was out, doing my thing for work. Yes, I do have a day job. I do work. I do other things other than this podcast. But
male dancer.
Yes, I am. It's just dancing. It's like background dancing. Yes. No. But when I got the advice to, hey, you got to listen to this album, I did it because Sam, I trust your judgment here on pop punk music based on conversations that we had, and I was literally blown away. I was literally blown away by what this album had to offer for a lot of different reasons. So again, we'll talk about it here in a second, but I just want to say, just first note in the first couple notes was all it took for me to fall in love with this album.
And I knew that, Chris, I think you picked this one when we did our little drafty guy. and I knew that you were going to pick it. I didn't listen to any advice. I don't know if it was advice, but after you got your advice from Sam, I think you just made some comment to me like the new Bayside album is really good, or like we need to talk about the new Bayside album. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. But I don't know where you get time to like listen to stuff people tell you to listen to, because we're always listening to something different for our show every week. And I just never, anytime people tell me to listen to something, I'm like, yes, I would like to listen to that. But I'm like listening to, American Idiot or, Not a Surf, because we're doing an episode on that. So I never have time, but I always knew that at the top of your list, like you wanted to revisit this Bayside record. So when you picked it, I was very happy. And especially because I never listened to Bayside before. First time we had Sam on, we talked about The Walking Wounded, and I was quite impressed. And I just don't have like the time to like listen to like a shitload of other stuff. But I'm glad that we got to go into this because I really like The Walking Wounded. And listen, I'll spill the beans. On first listen, I didn't listen to it like the whole way through because I was like working or doing stuff. So I'd listen to a couple of songs here and there. Every time I turned this off, like the songs were stuck in my head, like immediately. And I was quite impressed on the first listen to, and I've listened to it a whole bunch of times because we took a couple weeks off for the holidays to record, not recording. So I've listened to this one a lot, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. I'm excited to talk about new music. We actually have 5 Thursdays this month, so we have 5 albums that we're going to do. And this is going to be the first. So this is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So why don't I kind of kick it back over to Sam, and not back over to Sam. I'll kick it to Sam to kind of give your thoughts on, being brought in for this episode and just overall thoughts on the album itself.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, Steve, to your point, it is not uncommon for Chris to respond to any new music that I share with him with, yeah, I don't have time to listen to that right now. So as you were talking about that, it reminded me very much so of the typical response I'll get from him when I share stuff. Second of all, that's not how I remember the story, Chris, of how this album was introduced to you. I do remember it being a conversation around you needing a new stage song that you were wanting to dance to. I recommended this album. All that to say, you are indeed a male dancer outside of this podcast. If I could accomplish anything by being here, it's convincing your audience that you are in fact a male dancer.
So we're going to go with that.
This would be quite the interesting choice of dance songs, because the theme of this album, if anything, is fucking dark and death. And some dancers get up there and they do those dark songs, but you really got to own it and you got to get into the physicality of it.
I don't know where this came from. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is just something else. I don't understand.
I'm chuckling as I look through the track list here, and think of all the names that would just be terrible songs to dance to on stage.
Sam, the advice I'd give to you is don't encourage Steve. You're encouraging him. And I always give the advice not to do that, because that's not the way to go. It's not the right path.
I like this. Sam's going to be on every episode. We're going to be try hosts soon.
Easy.
Not that I'd love to imagine you as a male dancer, but I'd
Magic
love to
Chris 183.
I mean, I don't understand that. I could dance with the best of them, but that's not relevant here. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter, because we're not talking about that. We're talking about Bayside, and I don't want to dilute what is just such an amazing album in so many different ways.
Fair enough.
You're right.
So, Sam, let me ask you this question. We talked to you about The Walking Wounded, and we kind of covered this and your history as a Bayside fan. But all right, so The Walking Wounded was a long freaking time ago, and these guys have a lot of music over a long period of time. So when a Bayside is releasing a new record, are you immediately listening to it like the day that it comes out? There's really no more, I went to the store and I bought this CD. Maybe the vinyl, I don't know. But are you into this like immediately? Did you know it was coming out? So on and so forth?
No. So it's weird. I listen to Bayside a lot. And the story I tell with Bayside is I'm not even a fan from their early days. I really got into them around 2000, or at their 2011 album, Killing Time, which was just, I knew of them. I knew a lot of people talk about them. I knew a lot of the bands that I liked toured with them. So I check out the album on a drive to the casino one day, and I find that, like, man, every song is great. And from there, I just kind of started picking up the catalog. listened a lot to their, I think it's 2016-ish album Vacancy. I really like that album a lot. Then they go to Interrobang, which I knew about, didn't really ever get into as much as some of the other albums. Kind of dropped off the Bayside wagon a little bit there. I hear about this one just randomly as it drops. I had heard some of the singles. The interesting thing about this album is, like, I think it was like six of the tracks or four of the tracks were released on EPs prior to the album being released. So several of the songs on this album were out in cycle for a good year or two before this album even made it out. So I was familiar with some of the tracks. I liked what they were doing and just kind of picked it up. And man, I fell in love. So real quick, I'll kind of jump ahead, but I'll tell you, Spotify and Apple Music do their kind of annual Wrapped reviews and summaries for music listeners. So Bayside was my top artist for 2024. A song on this album was my top song of 2024. And this album was my top album of 2024 on my Apple Music Wrapped or whatever it's called. I listened to Bayside approximately 50 hours in 2024 based off of what Apple Music is telling me. And I don't even I use Spotify too. So there's probably a good 70 hours worth of Bayside, with the majority of it being this album from last year, whatever we're in.
Wait, real quick. So hold on, let me just ask him real quick. So the Spotify Wrapped, it was, you were saying Bayside was your number one band on Spotify Wrapped, right? Not Apple Music?
On Apple Music.
What was Spotify Wrapped? What was your number one?
That one's all out of whack because I use Spotify to let my kids stream their music. So I don't trust any of those stats, but that's all I use it for.
Same. And if anything from your story, I learned, all right, Chris 183, male dancer, Sam, degenerate gambler, talked about driving to the casino. So we're learning a lot about the backgrounds of our hosts and guests here. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting doing a little bit of research on this, because you're right. I was looking at like some comments about what people said, and they're like, way to roll out an album after 2 years, because yeah, they had two EPs. There was one, and Chris is a little Weezer-esque. They had one in 2022 called the Red EP that had Strangest Faces, Good Advice, and Just Like Home. Then in 2023, they come out with the Blue EP, How to Ruin Everything, Go to Hell, and Bad Intentions. Then the single Castaway comes out right after that. And then, so that's that's 7 of the 11. So by the time this album like actually drops, to the people that were like really, really paying attention, myself not being one of them, there was only like 4 new tracks. And I guess it's somewhat similar to like when the Blink album came out. Like they released a couple of singles, like maybe they released 4 or 5 singles out of I don't know. There was a bunch of 13, 14 songs on that, but kind of similar to that, where it wasn't all like brand new music. It had been out. And I wonder if you could talk to the Bayside dudes and Anthony Ranieri. Like I kind of see themes on this album. You know, if you look at the title of it, which I never remember, I've just been calling it New Bayside. There are worse things than being alive. And if you like read all the lyrics and listen to the lyrics, there's a lot of dark stuff about like death and like all that stuff. So I wonder like how a cohesive album comes out when it's piecemealed with like 3 EPs. It's kind of a weird concept.
Yeah, that is interesting. The other thing too, kind of on that point, is I'm not a big fan of when bands do this. I'm guilty of kind of just having a heavy rotation when I like something. And I don't know, it's just something about like the magic just kind of fizzles out after 2 years or a year of being able to listen to something, and then it makes it onto an album. I like picking up an album with like 11, 12 tracks that I've never even heard and putting it on for that first time and letting it go through its full cycle. Something about when they let songs come out too early and you've just had a chance to hear them for so long that it takes a little bit of the magic away from me on the album side. But in this case, very strong album as we kind of start to dissect some of these songs, I'm sure.
I want to say that's a product of the world we live in now, but as we kind of look back, you know, in the early days of us, right, 90s, 2000s, they had singles, and singles were out on MTV, and they would be played them prior to the album hitting. Do we remember that the timeline was similar? Were they out, like maybe they weren't out a year before or 6 months before? Maybe it wasn't the same, but they definitely were out before the albums hit.
Coming out of like, left field, out of my pocket, just without any research, I would take the gander that there would be like a maximum of 2 songs that were released as singles, videos, airplay on the radio before an album would come out. And I think it would be within, I'm going to say 2 months of the album. So it was solely, it wasn't like it is now where it's like bands feel like I need to put things out to keep my fans paying attention, to keep relevant. It was more like, this album is coming out. How do we promote this album? Give them 2 teasers, give them the videos so that their album sells and makes money. Now it's more of, I need consistency. I need people listening because I'm making, half a penny on every stream. I need people listening consistently, always. So more music equals more people listening for longer times.
I guess, and we don't have to get into this whole conversation because I know there's a lot to it, but I mean, we come from a time where we listened to albums. That was our thing, right? But nowadays they listen to more playlists and Spotify playlists, and they add those to their rotation. It's a little bit different than what we did because yes, we were of the age where we got into burning CDs and that stuff, but for a lot of what we experienced, it was more about the album and about hearing the album new, minus maybe that single. Now it's just a little bit different because you have that flexibility to add those 3-4 songs to a regular rotation intermixed with all the other stuff you like. You could have Bayside, Taylor Swift. I don't know who else is out there.
Ice Nine Kills.
Jelly Roll. I don't know. What do people like?
Dude, I went to trivia tonight and it was all about 2024 and they did like a music round and I knew I was like, is there any rock music in 2024? I was
no, it's all country. I'm telling you right now, it's all country.
It is
pop and pop. But so just to sum up, it sounds like we're all kind of in this like old man dad space where even though this stuff was out up to 2 years before this album dropped, we were all not privy to it. So we actually did get a full album experience. I think the 3 of us right here, at least we did get like, I know, I'll speak for me. I know I hadn't heard any of this. So I listened to the whole album. Again, the first time it was in like bits, here and there. Then I listened to it in its entirety a bunch of different times in different ways. But the nice thing is that it wasn't kind of spoiled the way that like Blink-182 One More Time was when it came out. I had heard 6 of the tracks already, knew all the words. Like the 3 of us got this fresh, even though maybe the deep Bayside fans maybe knew half these songs, more than half.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Agreed.
And, you know what? So, the timing on it too is, Sam, when you told me about this album, I think it was August timeframe. This album had been out for a couple months, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to say this album April
5, 2024.
So, I got it even late. Not that was relevant to the conversation, but it was something that I thought it was brand new, and I'm like, all right, great, like this is a brand new album, but it really wasn't. But that's cool.
Yeah, and no real like stats. Like when we talk about new music, there's not a whole lot of stats. It came out on Hopeless Records. There's not even a Wikipedia page on this. If anybody out there knows the like real details on like the producers and the engineers and stuff, like go to Wikipedia and like submit an article because there's not a whole lot here, or like streaming singles, anything like that. One interesting stat: did you guys know where they kicked off their tour to promote this record?
Yes, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the place where Chris says no bands ever come. He thinks that they're from California. They're really from Queens, New York, Bayside, Queens, and they start their tour in Chris's backyard in McKees Rocks.
I'm going.
Is that a small venue?
It's a small venue. Yeah, you have to get if you want a good floor place to stand, you have to get there at least maybe an hour and a half before. Like for Story of the Year, I got there probably about an hour and a half before showtime, and I was able to get a good spot on the floor because the seats, there aren't really too many seats and they're just so far away. So it's fairly small, but it's a good venue, especially for a live show. It's intimate. I kind of like that sometimes a little bit better than the bigger venues. Just depends, right? Depends on the band.
I was watching their tour recap and I noticed that that's where that tour started.
Called the Roxy Theater. Yeah.
Pittsburgh, PA. I forget who else was on that tour. I think it was Armor for Sleep. It was like 3 pretty decent scene bands. Chris, you did not go to that show, or you did?
I wanted to go. It's already happened. You're telling me it already happened.
It happened like a year ago. Yeah.
I thought you were telling me it's going to happen.
No. The album came out in April, so this was. I'm pretty sure the date on the Pittsburgh show because I have a game for us later. It was April 3rd. They kicked this off.
I was out of town, unfortunately.
So damn. April Fool's Day. Sorry, I celebrate privately.
What I will do is we'll play the Spotify game, but an abbreviated version of it because it's probably going to be really challenging for you, Wingman Steve, to be able to name these songs that are in the top 5. So, Sam, you may be able to do it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you guys in the top 5 Spotify most streamed songs that I'm looking at here on my phone, which 5, how many of the 5 are from this album? And that's the first question. How many of the 5 are from this album? And what album do you think dominates the top 5, if any? If any.
I'm going to go first because I don't know the answer at all, and I can't even guess to the second one. I'm going to say that there's none from this.
Okay. Sam, do you have a thought?
Or actually, doesn't the Spotify thing that Chris looks at with my air quotes here, I think that might actually take into account recent streams. So it might not be the 5 most popular. It might take into account recency.
Easy.
In which case, I'm just trying to break down the parameters of the game, as I always try and do. Maybe 1.
Yeah, if we're going off that second set of rules, then I would say 1, but definitely no more than 1.
Okay, what album do you feel dominates the top 5? Where there's songs from, of course. If any, you do not have to say that there is a dominating album.
You could say
your answer could be there is not a dominating album.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with self-titled.
All right.
It's either self-titled or Walking Wounded.
Do you have a guess, Steve?
No, I defer my guesses. I don't know their albums well enough to.
All righty. So this is going to be fairly simple. There is one song off this particular album that is actually number 2 on the most popular streamed list. This one has 5 million. We're not going to go through again. It's in order of what I see. So number 2, How to Ruin Everything, off of There Are Worse Things Than Being Alive. That's number 2 on this list. Number 2. Okay.
Wow.
Now, what I will tell you is this. There is no album that dominates because the other 4 are 2 and 2. Okay. 2 from Killing Time, Already Gone, and Sick, Sick, Sick. And 2 from this album. Do you want to take a guess on which those 2 are, Sam?
2 from which album?
This album we're talking
2
about.
from. Oh wow.
I'm sorry. That's incorrect. I will take that back. It is self-titled. Self-titled. Sorry.
Self-titled. Yes.
But it is correct. It's 2 of them. I was looking at the picture incorrectly.
I mean, Devotion and Desire has to be 1.
That is what's number 1.
And man, I'm gonna go with They Look Like Strong Hands. Maybe, yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
Blame It on Bad Luck is number 4. There you go. So yes, nothing from this album, which is fairly surprising to me because I think this album definitely has some songs that should be in that top 5 streams.
But those top 5, it does take into account recency. Recency, because there are several songs underneath that top 5 that have more
allegedly
actual streams.
Allegedly.
I pulled it up. I wanted to just see. I was curious.
Allegedly. Who knows where your sources are from? That could be
Spotify.
AI. It's
Spotify,
ChatGPT.
the app.
And just just quickly to go back to the tour, it was Armor for Sleep and Finch.
And Finch,
was the
that's
other
right.
band that they
How could I forget?
Finch.
Oh, dude. How did I miss that show?
Well, I wasn't a huge Bayside fan at that time, so I didn't tell you about it. So
Oh, you
maybe
got to
just didn't
tell me. I
find it on
depend
the
on you.
Instagrams.
I depend on you for these things. I can't believe it.
I may have sent it to you for Finch. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's possible.
I think I was. I honestly think I was just unavailable or out of town. So,
all right. Well, there are worse things than being alive, and I would not say that listening to this album is worse than being alive. I think listening to this out. Wait, I don't know how to say that. I got a little tracked up there. Let's see. Let's go into the album. How's that?
let's go.
Why don't we get it started? It starts off with a song called "The Devils." Chris, you picked the album. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I do. This track, man, I could go on forever on this one. So it kind of starts off with an ominous group vocal approach here with like, this chanting. I don't know, it's just like it's a unique way of kind of entering into what would be the first track here. I love it, right? It goes from those group vocals though into this kick-ass intro. Like the intro, those guitars just shred. Like it's just amazing what they do there with that transition. Anthony's voice is exceptional. So that's just I'll just throw that out there, right? There is not a bad song on this album because I think because of the way that he delivers vocals. So I'm just going to throw that out there as the standard here. But on this particular track, I think that you're going to find that they are probably even a step above that. The way that he delivers the vocals on this track is like none other. I mean, it's just there's so many layers. The music here is very rich. Like I said, Anthony's vocals are crisp, but they fit perfectly with the melody and with what I want to listen to. There's some really super melodic parts, especially that pre-chorus. And then you have the slow but heavier chorus full of just musical depth, just so much there for you to listen to, and it all works together. It has all that plus, we go back to the guitars. It has all of those amazing things, an amazing melody, an amazing vocal performance, and just some outstanding guitar work throughout the entirety of this track, especially that solo, but not exclusively. I think this track would wow anybody right away. If this is a song you listen to and you were like, man, I don't get this band, I think I need to talk to you. I want to know where you're coming from because I have no idea. So that's my thought. I think they really knocked it out of the park right away with the Devils. Curious to see what you guys have to say.
Devil's in the details. Sam, you go ahead.
Yeah, so a couple of things I wanted to mention before I forget, just on the general topic of the album. This is a no skip album for me. So there's not a single track on here that you're going to hear me talk about having to skip or not liking enough. I think this is a solid album throughout. The Devils is, for me, just an awesome album opener. I love the very slow build up, kind of that single bass line that you hear. There's kind of that little creepiness, eeriness to it that I really like. And then you get the choir coming in. I'm not typically a big fan of that choir type stuff or the chants, but I think it works for this song. It only makes one other return kind of towards the tail end of the song, but I think it works really well. And there's something that I picked up about like the vocal production on Anthony's side in the chorus that I think ties in a little bit to like, it almost has a little bit of that choir element to it that just from a production standpoint, the song is absolutely impressive to me. I love the guitar solo. I think that one's another really nice placement on that. It's like right as the song is slowing down a little bit, it kind of picks back up with the solo. So musically, I just thought the song was a great starter to the album. One of the things I did as I was kind of listening back to the album was I went down and I jotted down some of my favorite lyrics from the songs, whether they be songs or lyrics that I like because of the vocal delivery or just lyrics that I just really find myself kind of gravitating towards in the songs or singing out loud.
You have to sing them.
Well, then we're going to skip that part of
No. Go ahead.
my notes. No, I'm joking. But the hell's got to be empty because the devils are here is probably the part that I find myself repeating the most as I kind of sing the song to myself. But super solid song. And I'll close out by just saying that I pulled up something from Anthony in an interview about this song in terms of what they were trying to accomplish. he said, "We just wanted to write a ripper that keeps you on your toes. The chant at the beginning was a melody that I kept humming to myself when I was walking my dogs. Put some words to it, and we were going to use it as the bridge. We loved it so much that we thought the song had to just start this way." And again, I think it worked out really well in terms of how this overall song is structured. Great opener.
Hell's got to be empty because the devils are all up here. Again, that's a dark lyric number one opening track. Yeah, I mean, you guys said it. It starts with this like witching kind of chant. It's a little odd, but I feel like it works. And one of the cool things I think about Bayside in my limited experience with them is they give you a lot of different looks, right? They give you the pop punk, they give you the hardcore, they give you like the metal kind of shit. And, you know, they get straight into that like kind of hardcore metal riff after that chant. When Anthony's voice comes in, again, the vocals, he just sounds so great. Like he's got a very different voice than other singers. Like, yes, it can be like high pitched, but it's unlike any other. Quite the headbanging chorus, if you ask me. Very like a day to remember, like that type of like chugging, like, you know, but the lyrics are really good. You mentioned they go back to the chanting and then they go into this crazy metal guitar shred. I like a lot more of the pop punky stuff, but the stuff like this, I think that it sets the table pretty well. And even though that chanting in the beginning is odd, again, it sets you up for what's coming up. Like, you know, talking about souls that need saving and death and all this crazy dark shit. And I think it's a really good way to start it off.
Yeah, you hit a really good point there, especially just in terms of like Bayside in general. They do give you a little bit of everything. And I think like when just kind of looking at this album and thinking about like all the different songs on this album, you really do get like a nice mix of almost like a little bit of that like really heavy metal influence, the more hardcore stuff. There's a little bit of that circus stuff kind of sprinkled throughout, and then there's a couple of songs on here that I'll note too that are just like very like strict pop punk songs that I just love that they do so well. So yeah, I think you hit that one right on the head with it.
And just to transition into that, like I felt Castaway was a good mix of the hardcore with kind of the pop punk. Like the chorus is very, very catchy. It's fairly simple. You know, it's only 4 lines, but the first one and the last one are different. This one's got like that bridge that's got the gang vocals. This one to me is like a little bit more, like they start off a little bit more on the metally hardcore side, and this one is a little bit more pop punk. Nothing too much else to call out on this song, but I thought this one was a really good, like catchy way to like somewhat lighten up after the first. Did you guys feel the same way?
I did. One of my notes here was that I thought the transition from track one to this track was very smooth and just a solid fit for where the song was placed. I really like Anthony's vocals on really any of the tracks, but when I pick up on some of the little like minor like fluctuations in his vocals here or there, there's some like talk vocals that he does, like spoken word stuff in some of the other songs that I just really like. And the lyric that stands out to me is he does that in one of these, but it's when the party's over, you have to pay the check. Now, how could I have paid my dues and still be in your debt? Just the way that he delivers those vocals to me, it really stood out in this song and really made me appreciate it. In general, the chorus wasn't the strongest chorus for me personally across the entire album. Not bad and by any means. I find myself still listening to all of these songs because of how catchy most of the choruses are. If I had to pick one that I would say is a little bit more forgettable across the entire album, it'd probably be this one. And that's specific to the chorus, but that's just me on that song. Curious what Chris thinks.
Yeah, I saw it a little bit differently with the chorus. I really thought that this is one of the more amazing choruses on the album. I took this one almost immediately, and I think it probably just kind of goes hand in hand with how I feel about this particular song and the hype that it builds. I think it's just the tempo and the pace and the guitars, a lot of just very frantic but very melodic too. And I think that if you do that right and you know have that perfect melody on a song that just has a ton of energy, it's a can't lose song. So you know, more amazing guitars in this one. It definitely sells it in that aspect, and that melody and the guitar and the guitars and the melody, perfect accompaniment with each other. I really would look. I would want somebody that said to me, "Hey, this song does not get me hyped up to go out and do something Like I want to look that person in the eye and just kind of understand them better because I don't understand. Like this song makes you want to get up and go out and do something. Maybe go skateboarding or what do you do these days? Like go out and start a business. I don't know. What could be something you get hyped up to do?
If you
Dunk
guys
a
will excuse
basketball.
me for a minute, I'm going to go start a business.
Go. I mean, the song has got to get you up. So I think you already said. Did you already say your piece, Steve? I think it was
I
short,
did.
but I don't know if you had anything else to say about this. Okay. So why don't Sam? Why don't you kick us off with "Go to Hell"?
Go to hell.
Sam,
Yeah,
why
this
don't
is
you
a
go to
fun one.
hell?
Yeah, thanks. I will go straight to hell and tell you exactly what I think about it. So this song, we mentioned it earlier. It's one of the songs that was on like the 2023 EP. So I had actually heard this song prior to the album, but I like it. I like a lot of things about this song. For me, first of all, I love the roller coaster rides. The like slow start picks up to something big, then kind of tapers back down again. You see that kind of fluctuation in the sound early on. Starts off with that plucking that I really like, before you kind of get that full band kicking in, and then it kind of tapers off a little bit again, and then it'll introduce the vocals. Any song that gives a solid amount of the track to Anthony's vocals kind of sitting front and center, and they're not all overproduced or layered, is an automatic favorite for me. So this is definitely up there. I have a couple of notes here. So, favorite lyric, let me get that out of the way. Is what sound do the best laid plans make when they all go to hell? I just find myself singing that all the damn time. It's so damn catchy to me.
And best
The
laid
bridge on
plans
this,
don't make sounds, which is why it's a good lyric.
it's so good. So good. I think it's the bridge on here, if I'm not mistaken, where it's I can't be the person you want me to, so fuck it, I'm walking to Queens. That I really like too. Again, just from the vocal delivery on Anthony's part. Something I wanted to say about this track, though, that's kind of funny is I found myself listening to this album and kind of drawing a lot of comparisons to like Newfound Glory, but not necessarily like on the sound, but just in terms of like a band evolving. This band's been together for like 25 years. And I feel like this is like a very like cheesy lyrics and all, they pull it off really well. And I almost feel like it's what Newfound Glory kind of wishes they could do. Like the lyrics, they teeter totter on some of the cheesiness, especially with like some of this, like where do wishes go when they're tossed in a well? It can be classified as somewhat cheesy to somebody that may not listen to it, but it's just so catchy. It's so well structured. It works, and the vocal delivery behind it makes it even better for me. So I just thought that was interesting to point out that I found myself drawing that comparison so much with it. But good stuff.
I could see that. Chris, you want to go or should I?
Yeah, I just have one thing to add on this song. I really love the intro on this one. I love the way it starts. I love that da na 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 pause da na na na. I think that's I just the other songs do that too. This isn't the only one I've heard that before. Maybe with a little bit different, obviously a little bit different of a musical arrangement and not exactly the same, but those riffs, like one after another with that pause, I think that's amazing. So, kind of got me into this one right away. But in contrast, the the lyrics or the way that it's delivered here, a little bit gentler, right? A little bit easier to contrast that harder guitar riff. So, I think that I think that might be what's most interesting about this song for me is the fact that you can have, a little bit lighter of a vocal delivery, but little bit more part of a guitar line, and have it be, a comprehensive song that sounds good. I just think that's a testament to why this is a great track. So I there was something else about the chorus, the guitar during the chorus. I think that I wrote down that I really enjoyed that one too. I think probably there was just some crazy guitars going on there, but other than that, again, the music here is what carried me. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I will just reiterate the way that the song starts is fantastic. It starts with this basic guitar strum and then this giant heavy riff. And then all of a sudden, Anthony comes in and it's this like front bottoms esque, almost a cappella delivery. That first line that he lays out, is really funny. I'm okay in a falling down batshit sort of way. That that reminds me of a Ludo line. He goes, I'm happy, curled up naked in the shower, biting your knees, wishing you were dead, kind of happy. Anyways, that's a different song. But I love the delivery that he has here, and I love the chorus is amazing because I yes, maybe you could put them in the cheese pile, if you will, in the cheese aisle in the grocery store. But to me, this is very like when you talk about like wishes tossed in a well, very Goonies like to me. And then the Ataris, they talked about the Goonies that way. I don't know when you say that shit, and it's easy to hear in a clean, lyrically delivered way. It just kind of like makes me smile a little bit. And his vocal delivery is on point. Right at the end of the chorus, there's a killer guitar riff. I love, later on as the song kind of wraps up, he does that thing where they do the chorus again, but it's soft delivered. It's again just like almost a cappella, but that feeds into this huge fucking gang vocal chorus where there's this like back and forth. I would like to know where if fuck it, he's walking to Queens, like where is he walking from? Is he walking from, Pittsburgh? Is he walking from Manhattan? I was just kind of curious because it seems like that would be a long walk for him, but I don't know exactly where he's coming from. But that is neither here nor there. Yeah.
Chris would say he's walking from Bayside, California.
That would
more than likely.
That'd be quite the walk. But if he's
somebody's done it. I'm sure somebody's done it.
Yeah, I'm sure. But it take like months. Anyways, but I don't know where he's walking from. But that line is, that does stand out. And overall, just, the powerhouse song at number 3, I think that holds true for this record and the song. I think the song is really good.
How long does it take you to walk from Queens to Brooklyn?
Well, like Queens is a large area and Brooklyn is a large area. So there's not really an answer to that.
The center of Queens to the center of Brooklyn.
Definitely hours.
Hours?
Yeah.
What about a light jog?
I just looked it up. Take a guess. Walking.
He said 2 hours. That was his guess.
I said hours. I would maybe say the center of, I'm trying to think does it say what the center of Queens is, what the neighborhood is?
I didn't go that far, but give me a ballpark.
It's got to be like 6 hours.
Chris?
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to say 4.
Chris is close to 3 hours, 30 minutes.
From the center of Queens to the center of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Ish. Because the thing is, like, Queens and Brooklyn, they like bump up against each other. Like it could be a 2-minute walk depending upon where you are.
Well, if you go down Jamaica Avenue, 3 hours, 42 minutes, according to Google.
Okay. Well, fuck it.
Let's do it.
That's not that long.
We should do that someday.
I'm going to probably pass on that, but
we could listen to this album. We could do that.
Yeah.
I
don't know what kind of neighborhoods you go through on that walk.
I'll buy you a nice dip cone or something. You like the ice cream?
A dip cone?
You don't know what a dip cone is?
Am I supposed to know what a dip cone is?
Are you kidding me?
Is that like a cone that's dipped in like chocolate so it's the chocolate's crunchy on the outside?
Yeah, I've never had one either. What is it?
Yeah, you do. You dip the cone, you dip the soft serve in like a shell. You dip it in and then it hardens and then you
I've
have
had
the
that.
dip
I just
cone.
had never heard the terminology.
I mean, you literally dip it in the stuff and it's called a dip cone because you're dipping it.
I mean, you don't have to yell at me. I said I've had it. I don't think they call it dip cones.
No, I'm just explaining to you why it's called that because it's the most logical thing to call it. That's what I'm saying.
They have those on the Jersey Shore. You can get, but I don't know that I would ever say, "May I please have a dip cone?"
I think
I'm going
he's putting
to go
a big
there.
emphasis on it needing to be dipped in front of you. Is that what you're saying? They dip it as you order it?
I think you would prefer that. I mean, would you like for them to dip it behind your back instead? I mean, is that what you got to see the dip?
What if I buy a pack of cones from the grocery store that are dipped in chocolate?
I've gotten those. Those are called like dippers or something like that.
That's not a dip cone. That's something completely different.
Oh man, what are they called?
You don't dip the cone in the stuff. And you can dip it in red or in orange too, not just chocolate. Like there's other things. I've had red dip cones. Those are the best ones.
Oh yeah, they're just called drumsticks. That's
They
right.
taste like red.
They taste like red.
Yes,
Boy.
but you need to see the dip because then you don't know how long that cone's been sitting out, because once it's dipped and encased in that substance, it could sit there for a little bit and you don't know if it's kind of been sitting there, right? You don't want old ice cream. Nobody wants old ice cream.
Man,
Well,
conversations like this, just Chris just knows how to ruin everything.
I was going to say the same thing.
Easy, easy. You have no idea
You
what
ruined
you
the
don't
flavor
know.
red for me.
I'm filling in knowledge gaps for you and you're giving me a hard time. Can you believe it?
Dip
Can you
cone.
believe it, audience? I
That's when
hope you.
That's when
I
put
want
a
you to
dip-
go
put a
out
dip
of
in
your
lip,
way.
and then you eat a
No,
cone.
you're not going to overtalk me here. I want everybody out there that's listening to go out of their way to give me a pat on the back and give Steve a really good talking to about the way he's treating me on my knowledge dropping on this episode, because he would not have known this. And I feel like I did you a service. I feel like I did you a favor.
I don't know why you're calling me out. Sam didn't know a dip cone either.
Yeah, but Sam's a
Yep.
guest. I mean, you got to treat
Oh.
guests with, a little bit differently, right?
I see.
We've been on the show a couple more times.
Okay.
They can't pat your back either. They tell guests not to approach the dancers.
Okay.
No touching.
Listen,
no touching.
we have a
No,
great
it's
one. We have a great one to take a departure from this conversation into. And yes, it is How to Ruin Everything. I see what you did there, Steve. Wow, does the chorus rip on this one? You talked about earlier walking away from this album and having these songs in your head. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is not one of them, then I don't know what to say, because this one was in my head. I listened to this song probably more than a lot of the songs on this album because I love this chorus so much. It just hits on every note that I want to hear in sequential order, and it's sung with such smoothness, such perfection. Anthony couldn't do a better job with this particular song and the way that the chorus is delivered. And I'm a guy that loves a little bit harder of a song, and this also delivers that, because you start off with just, again, the guitar just rips getting you into this one. The verse is rapid fire, so a little bit more hectic in terms of the delivery, faster tempo. But again, like, I don't care that it slows down that tempo for the chorus because it's a great contrast. I love saying that, but it's true. And the melody just catches you right away. It allows you to really appreciate that embedded melody in the chorus because of that contrast. So they shred the guitar. There's a great guitar solo later on. I mean, it's just everything you want in a song here. And man, I also, one thing about Anthony, I'll kind of throw out here. And by the way, if you guys don't know who we're talking about, like we keep saying Anthony, if you don't know Bayside, Anthony Ranieri is the lead singer of Bayside. Did I say that right? Ranieri? Is that how you pronounce it? Ranieri? Ranieri?
Sounds good.
Maybe we should have him on the show and he
Is there
can
a
tell us
tilde
himself.
on that?
Maybe.
I say Ranieri.
Ranieri?
But he has that extra edge when he puts emphasis on certain words that kind of comes off a little raspy, like when he just kind of like hits a word though a little bit different than the others. And I think that's so unique, and I love that so much. So he does it a couple times here. I can't remember the word, but it's there. Go listen to it if you can't remember. But guys, I mean, I'm super, super excited about this one. Love to hear what you guys' thoughts are.
So let me ask you guys a question. When there's a song that is featuring another band, right? So this song is featuring Ice Nine Kills, who I'm not like super familiar with. I know who they are. And I can definitely hear the contrast in voices in like verse 1 and verse 2, definitely. But when it says featuring Ice Nine Kills, does that mean it features like the whole band? Or does that mean it like features the singer? Because like, wouldn't it say the singer's name if it was just the singer? Does anybody have any thoughts on this?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, by default, my brain just went to like, if it was just a name and it wasn't like a well-known name, they probably wouldn't know who that is. But I guess that doesn't really matter in terms of giving somebody credit, feature credit.
Do you think it's just the singer, but they thought putting Ice Nine Kills would be more generating interest than like whatever that lead singer's name is?
Yeah, unless unless I'm missing something, and who like the feature includes more than one vocalist or
Because I've
something. I
seen
don't know.
featuring Blink 182 that featured both Mark and Travis. I've seen that. I think I've seen featuring Good Charlotte that only featured like one of the dudes. So I was just curious, like, is this the entire band? Because that would be kind of crazy to have like two full bands like recording a song. And I haven't said anything about the song, but this one is, kind of by far the most streamed on this album. It's super metally sounding at first, and Chris, I totally agree. I do like the chorus a lot. Some of the verse stuff is a little bit on the hard side for me, but it's not like unlistenable. It's certainly still interesting. I like that there's the contrast in voices. You can definitely hear the difference when Anthony Ranieri is done with his part and the Ice Nine Kills guy comes in and does his part. That happens at least twice. I don't think that happens in the chorus, at least not that I heard. To me, there's just like a ton going on. Like this song just like totally keeps you on your toes. And the call out line to me is just the last line of the chorus. I could do with a little patience. And, I could see why this one was pretty popular as a single.
Yeah, I love when we're all in agreement here. I think a lot of what I have down here for this song has already been said, but some things. First of all, I think this song is just absolutely a killer song all around. I like that we're talking so much about Anthony's vocals too, because there's just so many different really moments that stand out to me across the album where his vocals just really just shine, and they're just so good. I've said it for years that he's probably the best like pop punk vocalist that I listen to, where you can listen to him just pure vocals and the dude can carry a note like no other. I like the stuff that has kind of that spoken lyric flow to it in the opening verse. I really like when it kind of mixes that up relative to some of the other songs we've heard. The chorus we talked about already. It's especially just the melody around that chorus when he's saying like, when you say you don't want me around here no more. And I know it's the least I can do. You hear those fluctuations in his voice that make it even better. Lots of heavy riffs, guitars that really stood out for me on this track. Another really big guitar shredding session in it that really stood out. I think just to kind of stick to my to stay consistent with my favorite lyrics, it's when you say you don't want me around here no more, and I know that's the least I can do. And that one is 100% tied to the vocal delivery. There's just this like little peak at the end of it that you hear where he just fluctuates his voice, and it just sounds so freaking cool to me. So this is a great song. I didn't know very much about Ice Nine Kills. I still don't. But I thought where you were going with your question around features was whether or not we're motivated to go out and start like listening to their stuff more, seeing where that influence may have come from. But yeah, I still have yet to check them out. As I'm Googling while we're talking, apparently they're pretty well known. So
They're pretty big.
guess I'm just missing out.
To, throw it out there and say things. I think that Chris would probably like them more than I would like them. I think they're more on the hardcore side. So I don't know that for a fact. I'm just throwing that out there. And if you abbreviate their band title, it spells the word ink, which is pretty cool. Fun fact.
What does that mean? Is that just all it is? They just wanted to, is that just a play on that? Do we know?
I doubt it. I think that I'm sure it has some sort of significance.
Ice Nine Kills doesn't mean anything.
We'd have to get a fan on here or a Wikipedia up and check it out.
If you guys know, let us know, because I want to know. But I also want to know. So, Sam, you said at the beginning of the episode, you talked about some of the tracks on here that were a little bit more skewing towards the pop punk side of the rainbow. I don't know if that's the best way to say it, but anyway, does this Good Advice song fit that particular narrative?
100% does. You want me to go with my notes to kick this
Yes,
one
sir.
off?
Go for it. That was your segue. That was your segue.
You couldn't have teed me up any better. Yeah, I think this song 100% solidifies that alongside of all the other varieties of music that they are influenced by and obviously produce. They can make a killer pop punk song. I almost feel like again, I keep saying like evolution of like pop punk, but like this is what like a tenured pop punk song sounds like to me. This and one other on this album that I'll circle back to once we get there. Nothing super terribly heavy in this song, just a very clean general pop punk song for me, but still holds very strong. Um, this song has kind of a bit of a special meaning to me because there aren't very many songs that my kids or bands that my kids like that I like, and they're always asking me to turn my stuff off in the car. But my middle kid, Carissa, will listen to this song, and she always giggles and laughs at how the storytelling aspect of the lyrics, with kind of how it's structured around a school test in the beginning there. And because of that, made it very easy for her to memorize and sing along with me on. So I like that a lot. It has kind of a special place. Something that I think we've been talking a lot about with this album, but really kind of stands true with this one, is just how freaking catchy their lyrics are across the chorus, excuse me, not just their lyrics. How catchy the chorus is across this entire album. Every song has a really strong chorus, and this is one of those that I think is really no surprise to be one of those really top tier ones. Favorite lyric? Put down your pencils, time is up, pass your papers to the front, and the rest of that line. And that all circles around just that little moment that I shared with me and my daughter about it. So,
did you hear that bell? It means you're dead.
Yeah, that's kind of where we stop singing.
So you know that's a great story. You know, Sam, when you get called into the office because your daughter is screaming out, "I guess the bastards finally got you" in school, then you're going to have some explaining to do.
It'll be a proud dad moment for
yes,
sure.
Sir. Yes, sir. Steve, do you does your daughter love this song as much as Sam's? Is it your daughter, right? You said your daughter?
Yeah.
Yes. As much as Sam's daughter does.
I don't think so. I don't think my daughter got too many listens on this. I had a lot of car time. You know, I drove to Penn State recently, so I listened to this kind of soloing with my buddy. But from the first second that I heard this song, I knew that this was going to be a song that I'm going to like. It's obviously more on the pop punk side, and that little pre-chorus, I guess the bastards finally got you. Guess it's one of those days where it slows down and then it just bops into this sing-along-y chorus that's just infectious. It's fantastic. And then that second verse, the bass, it's super bass heavy. The drums, like, I don't know, I haven't said, neither of us, not any of the three of us have said anything about the drums. To me, the drums, I find myself listening to this song and being like, damn, this drummer is good. These drums sound fucking awesome. And then it's got another really cool guitar solo. I think this song is the whole package for sure. Good advice.
Yeah, great point on the drums too, because you're right. The drums on this album are also very solid.
I don't think there's anything that I could say that is outside of what you guys said. It's the chorus that caught me here. The guess those bastards finally got you. You know, it's also really interesting how the verse a little bit different there, and it's very, very focused on the words, because if you notice, like, the music it doesn't drop out totally, but it kind of gives like an ominous backing melody that's a little bit lower. Like, they want you to listen to what he's saying. They want you to listen to the story that he's telling. And then it comes in with that huge chorus, which, man, like, I sing along. This is just the best thing to sing along to. It's amazing. Like, there's so many songs on this album that you could put the top down in your car, let the wind blow, and just listen to it, and it's amazing, right? But this is definitely one of them, and I don't think it gets any better here. So, love this one. Love this one. And we continue with the hits, but the question is, does Miracle continue with that? And I'll tell you what, like, I listened to this song several times. I don't know. I can't come up with the words to say about this one. I kind of was stumped. So I'm going to throw it back to you guys to kind of start this one off, and I'll hit the tail end of this because I just wasn't sure which direction to go. I couldn't figure out my thoughts.
Yeah, to me, like the first verse of this song just fucking rips. Like, he comes in this, I don't want to keep my voice down. I will be screaming my lungs out. You do whatever you do. Just a lot of emotion in everything that he says. The pre-chorus, there's a drum sequence in there that's just fucking sick. Into the chorus, here's the only thing that I'll say. to me, it seems like first verse, pre-chorus, chorus, like this song is building and building and building. And I feel like at the end, like when the chorus ends with just those two lines, when a miracle is what I need, when a miracle is what I need, I feel like it could have been bigger. Like I feel like it gets like they're building this up so much, and then like the finale of that chorus is just kind of like middle of the road. Don't ask me how it could have been done better. Maybe he could have gone higher with the vocals. I don't know, but I feel like the chorus, they built this song so well, and it just kind of it middled to me. But then the second verse comes in. It's that same emotion. I don't want to let my hair down. I think it's still an awesome song, but that was just one thing that I don't know. That's what I wrote down when I was listening.
Man, I love that because I'm looking even at my notes, and I think you may have just kind of solved some of my problems with this song too. So first, I think something about this song, the way it starts, made me feel like it almost could have been an album opener too.
Yeah, I
I
could see that.
agree. I agree. It's just the way it starts is it's just a ripper of a song. But I think the chorus for me was what I wrote down was just not the strongest. And I think now that you're mentioning it, I think it may have a lot to do with just like that the song is building into something and then it just kind of drops off and you don't really know where it lands. That mixed with the melody that it's not my favorite on the album. I think it can kind of be lost in the shuffle of everything else. But again, it's just what makes it unskippable in my mind is just you still have really strong vocals. You mentioned the drums a lot, right? And not only are the drums really nice after that first chorus, they really stand out to me and something that I liked. But the pre-chorus is nice. Like there's elements of this song that are really good. I just feel like where the song starts and where it ends, I couldn't agree more that I just feel like there's something missing.
I just wonder if there was, and again, I don't even know who produced this album, but I just wonder if there was a producer that maybe could have come in and like tinkered just a little bit with it and turned this from like a really good song into like a fucking amazing song. Because I still think that it's a really good song and I enjoy it. But again, there's just something about the end to the building, the end to the chorus that it's like kind of stops the momentum, if you will.
Yeah. Yep. I can see that for sure.
I don't think the chorus for me stops the momentum. I think it's more maybe the pre-chorus. It's just the tonality doesn't mix with what I guess the standard has been set on this album so far. Is I'm looking for them to knock it out of the park in every single aspect of all of the song. And maybe just because they don't, for me, in that one section, it takes away from it. And that's kind of maybe where I was a little tongue tied on what to say here. I agree with you guys on the beginning. I agree with you guys, that it's a good song. Maybe it's one that you turn down just a little bit, and this is one you kind of just listen to maybe a little bit more in the background, but it still is a good one. But I like the chorus. I think there's a build to it. I think that it's still super energizing. I like what they're doing there, and the drums in this one still definitely stand out. I know that wasn't mentioned, but there's this I don't know how you say it, but just basically this just driving drum roll type of thing. It's in short bursts, but I really like that too. So definitely some good stuff, but maybe just not enough to allow me to go on and on like I have been.
All right, I'm going to kick off Strange's Faces here. Hello, Strange Carnival Vaudevillian vibe. I didn't necessarily expect to see you there. This song is super weird, but it's also like really super enjoyable. Like I feel like I'm at like a haunted carnival listening to this song. And honestly, it's not a whole lot to this song. It's the same like two pieces kind of repeated. I don't know what's a chorus or a pre-chorus or a verse. There's like a verse and a half maybe like of different things that he's saying, but it's just like to me, this is like a palate cleanser. It's towards the second half of the album, right? It's 7 of 11, but it's like let's put something like weird and strange here, but that people can also like bang their head to, sing along to, not know what is going on, but it's fun and it still works. So I liked it.
You didn't say anything about it, how he drops an F bomb here. They don't really do that a lot, do they?
I think there's like 3
There's a
tracks on the
couple.
album that have a bad word.
They do it here, and it works. It kind of flows with the rest of the song. I definitely agree with that Halloween theming though. Like it feels like I'm in like this song could be in A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's like that feeling, right? You're with Jack Skellington somewhere, it's kind of right beside you when he's singing this, but I love it too. I think it gives it a lot of charm. I don't think I hear a lot of songs like this that do it as well as they do in this one. And it's not just gimmicky either. Like it's a good song. There's a lot of good parts to it. The good drums, the guitars rip one more time. It changes tempo a little bit. It has this part after the chorus that like kind of speeds up the drumming, and he sings over top of it, and it goes into just an amazing guitar solo. So I mean, there's so many good things here in this track. Outside of the unique, edge to it, it's definitely one worth listening to. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, I think Bayside strikes again. You guys hit it right on the head with that spooky circus music vibe that is it's not uncommon in their albums for sure, especially with a lot of the Anthony Ranieri solo stuff. I feel like there's more of that vaudeville type music, but or has been in the past. Um, I think I think they pulled it off well for what it is. I agree with a lot of the comments around like there's not just a whole lot to the song, but some just oddly enough, just with it being in this album, I think it has a good place in the album. It adds a little variety to it. There's a lot like a deeper vocals on this one, just kind of throughout. Very similar to Miracle, though. Not so much that I think that it's missing something. I just feel like it doesn't hit a real peak like so many of the other songs do. But it doesn't make this one a terrible one. I think it's catchy for what it is. Very simple song. And just from a production standpoint, just musically, I really appreciate this song because if you listen, like even throughout the instrumental break, you can almost hear like as they're like it's like that circusy sound, but it almost sounds like a ghoul or like a ghost sound mixed in with some of those keys. That almost feels intentional, which tied in really nice to the song. So solid song, pretty simple song, but some elements that I think are pretty solid overall.
I'd play this song at a Halloween party.
That would fit.
Yeah, you could definitely do that. This is also the only they made a shirt in their merch lineup for this song, and oddly enough, for some reason, I bought that one. So this is the one shirt I have from the album.
These guys would get along with Ludo very well. A lot of Halloweeny shit.
There aren't many songs to put on the Halloween mix, by the way. There aren't that many Halloween songs. I know it's not Halloween. We're already past that. But if you think about it, there's probably like 6 songs that are Halloween themed. I could list them.
I'm trying to think if I know more than 6. I probably don't.
Ludo's got like 10.
I looked up a Halloween playlist when it was Halloween time and played it because we wanted to listen to quote unquote Halloween music. And I mean, literally there were some songs in there. I was like, is this a Halloween song? Like Timber by Kesha? Like that's not Halloween.
No, it's not.
There's at least more than 6. I'm starting to think of them. There has
Monster
to be
Mash. It's like Monster Mash. Somebody's Watching Me. Thriller. What else?
A Halloween song.
The Werewolves of London. I mean, is that even? I don't even know. Like, I don't like that song. I don't know. There aren't that many.
Something from Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, they're up there.
Anyway. Yeah, there's like 6. I'm gonna go with the straight up 6.
I've already mentioned Ludo twice. I gotta just stop it because I could list like 10 of their songs.
It's a drinking game. It's a Ludo drinking game. Easy, it is the holidays, so enjoy yourself, but be responsible.
Ludo.
No.
All right. Say So Long. Who wants to kick this one off?
You do. Or Sam does.
I can kick it off. This is very similar to Good Advice a few tracks up. Just a very classic Bayside like punk song to me. Super amazing melody and vocals on this one. I really like the song a lot. I actually think this is probably one of the from out of all of the choruses on this album, this is just so damn catchy to me. It's also probably my favorite intro verse on any of the albums. Just the "Is it me or is it hot in here? I don't know if this is Sweater Tears," and then just that pitch spike to what Do I owe this paper cut? Like those little things that are sprinkled throughout this song that just make it so good to me. Um, yeah, so really good song for me. I like this stuff when they go into just straight up pop punk sound, and they do it so well.
Steve.
Same. I like the pop punk. Super energy just from the get go. The entire song is just a fucking earworm. It's actually hard for me to even say what I like better, the verses or the chorus, because they're both like, I don't know, they're both really strong. I love the super upbeat message of the chorus. We're all gonna die, so say so long. That always perks me up. I love the part in the middle where he kind of just chills it out, and he's like, "I'll go sing a song or something. I'll sing a song or something." I mean, it's just a very relatable. Like if you like pop punk music, there is no way you don't dig this song. It has that classic like scene band sound to it. There's this like, you know, reverby guitar in the background. Then they take like, again, I've mentioned Drinking Game, the theme of this song being death and sadness and hell and these things. Like, let's take the entire theme of the album and throw it into some gang vocals right before the end of the song. You know, these days I think about death more than I used to in this gang vocal repeated lyric. Yeah, this is another one of those songs that just kind of has it all for me.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was coming, and I definitely agree with you. I think this is a banger for sure. This is a great song. There's a lot. It's simplistic in nature too.
Are you allowed to say banger in the new year?
I get two.
So for the whole year. So this is the first one for 2025.
That's one.
Dang, already?
All right.
I saved it for this album, so I'm okay with that.
Forget about December 2025.
I think you said it twice this album.
So
you may have burned both already.
I'm okay with that, Sam.
That could have just been a 2024 resolution. 2025, you could just go back to banger. It's okay.
But I'm okay with that here on this album because I do feel like it's appropriate. But back to my point, I do think this is a safer song in a lot of ways because it is that pop punk style. It's a little bit more simplistic. The guitar shredding isn't there, but it doesn't need to be like that. This particular song doesn't need all that, and I'm glad it doesn't have that because it would lose the charm of what it is. So I agree with everything you guys said. Like I love the sound. I love the fact that they can be different, ambidextrous. They can be just this or that and do it well no matter what. These guys are super talented and they know how to write a pop punk song too. So love it. Bad Intentions. Steve, kick us off.
Yeah, this one's definitely got like a darker vibe to it, like right from the beginning. Just to put an overall thing on it, like this is just a kick-ass like rock song. Like I don't think this has I didn't write down at least that it had a whole lot of like metal-y stuff or even this just seems like a rock song to me. The chorus is not like is overall like catchy and earwormy, but like I don't know, something about the song is just like still really solid. Not a song that like I'm like, if you're gonna go to this album, you need to listen to this one at number 9. But it's a song that I'm just like, okay, I like this song here at number 9. I don't know, that's not too deep. Sorry, maybe you guys can go deeper.
No, it just brings me back to like an alt rock type of sound. Like you're right, like a rock song, but more like an alt rock. Maybe just like a newer rock. Maybe like a I can't think of the band off the top of my head here.
But that's awesome because we've heard like total pop punk. We've heard like the Day to Remember, like scream hardcore shit. Like all these things we've heard in the same album, and they all just like figure out a way to make them like work and mesh together.
For sure. And again, maybe this is just another way of saying that, hey, we can do this type of song too and do it well. I do like the way he delivers the line. I've got bad intentions. Like he has that he puts the emphasis on the A somehow, which I don't even know how you do that, but he does it. And yeah, it's a solid track, right? And I think on this one the drums really did stand out for me. Like I love the drum line in this song. There was some parts that were a little bit more intense than others that I thought were great, but overall, like I said, a solid alt rock track that I was thoroughly enjoyed. Sam.
I like trying to look at Sam's face and to figure out what he's thinking as we're talking, because I saw the face while I was talking while you were talking, and I can't tell if he's going to be like, oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Or like, you guys are like so stupid. I don't know.
Both. No, no, it's crazy how often you are literally like, it feels like you're looking at my notes for things that I picked up from the song too. I guess I'm just super impressed by it. But yeah, look, I think a lot of things have been said here that I can agree more with. The first line I wrote down on my notes for this song is, this song feels like a 9 spot song. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, it feels like it fits where it is. Again, not a song I'm going to skip on the album, but this is the one track on the album where I don't necessarily care for kind of the melody around the verses. I think the chorus is pretty big, and that has a little bit of a better melody to it. But it's just kind of one of those things. The chorus and the bridge are really just my favorite parts of the song, and not a whole lot else that really stood out to me here that hasn't already been said, but definitely a solid 9 spot song. It is where it belongs, and does not make it a bad song, just maybe not one of the more memorable tracks.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I thought it was a little bit more memorable than the next one. So Just Like Home is the next track. And I did not mind. Like, I think it had a great start to the song, a little bit harder guitars, and you kind of go into the verse where it's a little bit more subdued backing melody with, a little bit bigger of a lyrical delivery by Anthony here. I think this one also kind of goes along the lines of more of a rock song than anything else. But, ultimately this one kind of fell a little bit lower than the others. I didn't find anything in here other than just some really good guitar work that really caught me. Like, the melody was good, but it wasn't great. And I think that's really pretty much it. So
I'm telling you, it's like you're looking at my notes. I couldn't agree more. I think musically, this is a great song. I think there's a lot of things. The guitar stood out to me just as much as what you just mentioned, Chris. I think it's the chorus that was a little lacking for me on this song relative to some of the others. It builds into like a good song overall. I don't know. It's just something about the overall melody that I just didn't really fall in love with. And again, I say that in comparison to the rest of the album, which I just hold in such a high regard. So it's not a bad thing. But yeah, I think what stood out to me really on this track, if anything, is just the guitars and the instrumentation.
Maybe I heard a little bit different vibe in the chorus. Like, I really believe that what he's talking about feels just like home. Like, his voice in this chorus has, like, there's so much emotion there with, like, he's just got this minor rasp. It feels just like home. Like, I don't know. I feel some emotion here in this chorus. And another song that's like pretty dark in concept, but just like rocks real hard. I mean, little did they know that you smile and you wave with an anchor still tied to your toe. Like, that's some dark shit. I think maybe my favorite part is in the bridge. There's this like back and forth kind of thing that I thought was really good. And I agree with you guys. This is a good like rock track here at number 10. Still no skippings. Not probably on my tops, but really good still.
Yeah, I always try and judge it as, is this song like album filler? Was it just thrown in here because they needed a track 11? And I can't say that any of the songs on this album, including this one, are guilty of that. So,
well, this was from 2022, so it was done a while back. If they didn't like it, they could have left it off.
Yeah, true.
And since we've stolen all of your notes for the entire conversation, Sam, you can start the last track. I'm So Happy I Can Die, so Chris and I both can't steal what you're going to say.
Thank you. I much appreciated. Very fitting closing track. Lyrically, one of my favorite songs, I think, on the album for sure. If I'm being super critical of this song because I love this album so much, I feel like just in the discussion today around how, like, what could have been, could this song have been built into something a little bit bigger to kind of close out the album? Probably. But I'm a big fan of like the lighter songs, the strumming songs, kind of to wrap up an album. And I think this song hits it for me. anytime I get a chance to really isolate those vocals on Anthony's side, or where that kind of is front and center for me, it's a good song. I like the song. I like it a lot. It's I think the only time in the entire album where you get woes in kind of that gang vocal form, um, which is probably the only part of the song I really don't love. It still ties in nicely, but every other part of the song is a hit for me and a nice way to close out the album.
Steve?
Yeah, see, now you stole my notes. Said that I think it's a fitting ending to a record that's all dark and about death. I'm so happy I could die. And what else did he say? I'm so happy I could choke. And like he talks about his perfect job, his perfect wife. I'm so happy I could die. Soft, acoustic vibe into these verses, and then into some anthemic chords. With as you said, the epic, this pretty epic, the whoa conclusion of this track. I think this is a great. So I like the acoustic, not fully acoustic, but the acoustic-ish rock kind of stuff to end an album. And I think it ends the album on a lighter note. Again, we've seen a lot of different looks in this album, a little bit like this, but not so much. And I think this is perfect here at the end. Really good. I'm so happy I could die.
Yeah. Look, it just takes you off into the sunset, right? You've had a wild ride during this entire journey through the album itself. There was some, amazing highs, some amazing just guitar shredding, some awesome rock songs, some great pop punk stuff. You get it all here. And this just kind of takes you get into the backseat of a car and you drive off, into the sunset. You feel happy about what you just listened to and you can move on. So for me, like this, you're right. This does kind of put a nice bow on the album. It has its place. Like, would I listen to this song on its own? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe this wouldn't be one that I would pick out to listen to. Yeah, I got to listen to I'm So Happy I Would. No, I don't know. But I think
you can make a playlist with like this and Soko Amaretto Lime and, other ending tracks that are acoustic-y.
You could, but that's not my thing. Like I wouldn't do that personally. Like that's not how I would enjoy it. I would enjoy it as more as part of the entire work of art at the end. So that's where I think the place should be. But I'm sure there are people out there that really like that last song, that just chill nature of the last song, and this would fit that perfectly. So
I think I almost expect my albums to close with a track like this.
Yeah. My albums, like he's
sure.
making the albums.
Yes, all of my albums. Yeah, I think it's well said. I definitely have a preference for a nice slow song, as you said, to take me off into the sunset. So
yes,
I think that one accomplishes it.
Well, before we get into the really important stuff, I want to play a quick little game here. I want to play this game. These guys put this record out in early April of 2024. And then they played their first show with Armor for Sleep and Finch at McKee's Rocks in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on April the 3rd. And you don't really know, like when a band puts out a new record, have they been a band for 20 something years? Are they going to play a lot of these songs from the new record? Are they going to play any? Are they going to play most of them? So here's the game, guys. How many songs at that show in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania did they play from this record? You each get a guess.
Chris, you go first. Let me think about this one for a sec.
I guess we don't get the hint. This isn't a hint, but how many songs total? Again, you may have mentioned this, but how many songs total did they perform?
Oh, I don't have that, but they were the headliner of the evening.
Headliner. Okay. I'll say I think the over-under's 3.5. I'm going to go with 3.
He's going with 3. Sam, what do you think?
I'm going to go with...
By the way, Bayside plays so many shows. It took me a long time to find their set list from April of last year.
Man, I think I can't think of more than 3 songs on this album that they would have played either. Can I match his answer? Can I go 3?
Sure, you can match his answer so that you both can be wrong. They played 5 songs off of this album on April the 3rd, and I am one click away from finding out the total amount of songs they played. Let's see. Out of 21 songs, they played 5 songs off this record. Now, the next part of the game is to go back and forth and figure out which ones they played. So 5 songs out of 21, which ones did they play at McKee's Rocks on April 3rd?
We get 3 strikes.
You get 3 strikes, and you made Chris go first, so Sam, you have to go first this time.
I'm gonna take what I think is the easy one. The Devils.
That's correct. Yes, that was actually the first encore track.
Wow, that would be a nice encore kickoff.
I mean, How to Ruin Everything seems like it's.
I would also count that as an easy one. That is correct. Now that we've gotten those out of the way,
It's another Go to Hell.
all right, you guys are perfect. 3 for 3 so far. There's 2 left. Can you go straight up 5 for 5, no errors?
I want it to be one. I don't know if it's true, but Strangest Faces.
Nope. I am sorry. You did get a strike there.
I did want it to be though, so I'm okay with that.
You wanted it. Sam,
That's
1 strike
funny
against
enough.
you. 2 songs left.
That Strangest Faces was going to be my guess. Let me go process of elimination here. So it's not, I'm so happy I could die. It's not just like, actually, they do acoustic set sometimes mid set. I'm going to go, wow. I'm going to take a total stab at this and say Castaway.
That is correct. There is one more song. This was actually the live debut of Castaway.
Say So Long.
That's incorrect. All right, so it all comes down to Sam. There are 2 strikes, and there's 1 song left that they played. The first time they've ever played this song live, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on April 3rd, 2024. Don't fuck this up.
Okay. Can I take this very seriously?
You can't phone a friend.
No, but let me just go through and make sure I know what we've already gotten. The Devils, Castaway, Go to Hell, How to Ruin Everything.
Correct.
And is that where we're at? We're missing one?
We're missing one. Say So Long and Strangest Faces were incorrect guesses.
Good Advice.
Oh my gosh, you did it. On the skin of your teeth, you got it correct. Yes, they
God.
live debuted Good Advice. They played 5 songs from this album. I wonder what they're playing nowadays. I
hope some of the same, because that's pretty solid.
You need to have a catchy name for this segment, or you got to.
Yeah, it was What Did They Play at McKee's Rocks on April 3rd.
That's, I mean, the segment as a whole. I mean,
it's the set list game. It's the set list game.
The showdown.
That's what you got.
Set list showdown.
All right, fine.
Well,
all right. Well, we had fun with that. We're gonna have fun once again. We're gonna go to ranking it. This is the next and not necessarily the final, but almost the final segment of the show. Sam, this is where you get to rank your top 3 favorite songs on the album. There are Worse Things Than Being Alive by the album Bayside. So without further delay, why don't you give it to us? What are your top 3 in order? 3, 2, 1 off of this album.
I think I lost you for a second. Can you still hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Yes. Top 3. In the number 3 spot, I was super ready for this one. In the number 3 spot is going to be Good Advice. Again, the pop punk songs just really catch my attention. Easy to make it into the rankings. In the number 2 spot is How to Ruin Everything. And in the number 1 spot for me, which is also the song, and I had to give it the number 1 spot because it was apparently the song I listened to the absolute most, according to my Apple Music yearly summary, is Say So Long. I think that song is just one of the best pop punk songs I have heard in a while. So there's my 3.
Good list. Good list.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm torn on a couple things, but I'm going to I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. So I gotta go with Castaway at number 3. I just love the tempo and the feel of that song. Number 2 is The Devils, and number 1 is How to Ruin Everything. I'm going, just chalk on that one, but I love that song so much. So
All right. Well, I'm going pop punk chalk, if you will. Number 3 is going to be Go to Hell. I don't think that was on either of your guys, but my number 2 and 1 were on Sam's. Number 2 is going to be Good Advice. Number 1 is Say So Long. So I agree with you on that best song of the album is Say So Long. And, those are the ones that spoke to me the most. Loved them. But the album in its entirety was very good. I was very pleased with this listen. I didn't necessarily know what was, ahead of me, but this was a good pick, and I'm glad that we dove deep.
For sure. Definitely recommend people check out this album. You will not be disappointed.
Absolutely. And Sam, I think the last question, maybe for you and maybe for us, I don't know, because we have one other frame of reference. I mean, we could probably talk. Maybe you can talk. I can't, Steve, about the rest of the discography. But where does this particular album rank among the rest of the Bayside catalog? So do you have a thought on that, Sam?
For me, this is without a doubt their best album.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
Yeah,
Pretty bold.
best album. And they have 9 full-length albums. This is 100% I think, the best album they've made.
Okay, and Steve, we did one other Bayside album. I refresh my memory. Was that the self-titled one we did?
It was Walking Wounded.
Walking Wounded. How does this, in your mind, match up to Walking Wounded?
I would have a hard time really answering that question. I would say that I enjoyed both albums. I haven't really listened to like that one and this one back to back where I could give my thoughts, and I really haven't listened to much of the other ones other than a couple of songs here and there. So I kind of abstain by way of ignorance on the question. But again, I enjoyed Walking Wounded. I enjoyed this one, and I was a total Bayside newbie. So, I mean, these guys got me. Like, I'm interested in anything they do, and now I've seen them they've come to my city a million times, but now I'm interested. Now I kind of, I think I've caught them once or twice as an opening band to somebody else I've seen. Now I'm kind of interested to pay attention and see what they've got. So that's really my answer. I don't know if you have a similar one.
No, I mean, look, I don't know a lot of their other albums, but I would have a hard time betting against or voting against this album. It is so good from front to back. I did really love Walking Wounded, but I think this edges that out for sure. I am going to listen to the rest of them to give it a little bit more of a frame of reference now that we've done 2. I want to know what else Bayside has a little bit more in depth than what I know today. So for today, I'm going to say this album is number 1 for me. But when we revisit this somewhere down the road, we'll see if that changes.
And if I were to give this a 1, 2, 3, just for anybody that's interested in listening to more Bayside, I would highly recommend giving Killing Time a listen, and their album Vacancy, which is their 2016 release, a listen. Those would make up my top 3. Very, very solid listens across the board.
Very nice. Well, hey Sam, it was a fun time as per expected. You came ready to talk about this album. Thanks for coming back on the show. Hopefully you had a good time with us here at High School Never Ends.
It is a blast every single time, and I appreciate every opportunity you guys have given me to be on here. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And hopefully we can get you back on here soon. For all of you guys out there, hopefully you enjoy the show. We sure did, talking about Bayside today. Love to get back to this band at some point in time soon. We'd like to know what you think too. Would you like us to do another Bayside album or something different? Let us know. Let us know. I think you can get on the Apple Podcast, the Spotify Podcast. You can leave us a written review. Tell us in the written review what you want to hear, what you like about the show. Give us a 5-star review too if you really enjoy the show. It helps the show for sure. And don't forget about the High School Never Ends shop. You can get to go to our shop via our hub, www.hsnepod.com. That's www.hsnepod.com. We got a lot of cool stuff in there. mugs, shirts, hats, all the cool stuff that say High School Never Ends for you to purchase.
That's right. Follow us on all the things, right? At HSNE Pod. And by the things, I kind of just mean like Facebook and Instagram, because that's kind of all we do, because that's about it. But we do have a Patreon. And thanks to Sam, who is a patron of our show, we have been pretty rapid fire putting out a bunch of extra content. So if you want to hear us give you some insights into what we have coming up, some bonus episodes and all that good stuff, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/HSNE pod. New from 2024 is going to continue next week with another album that came out last year. Until then, keep on rocking your dad bods, throw up your rock hands, and blast the pop punk.
If you're enjoying this podcast or any podcasts on the Dragon Wagon Radio Network, be sure to check out the Dragon Wagon shop. You can tout your podcast pride while supporting your favorite indie podcast network. Make sure to check it often for new items and limited time designs. So shop now at dragonwagonshop.com. Get your dragon swag on.
It's Dragon Wagon.